if this notification spam caused you to become uneasy, stressed out, or made you want to check your phone. All right. The effects associated with social media pertain to almost everyone in this classroom. As stated by Lydia Denworth in an article published by Scientific American, a long-running, respected magazine. 72% of Americans now use social media in some shape or form. And also, according to Carrier Clinic, a behavioral health system, whether social media is good or bad, healthy or unhealthy for a person's mental health and well-being is directly related to how the platforms are used or abused by that person. The teenage users of social media become affected by social media one way or another. These effects can be positive or negative, but the outcome depends greatly on how social media users act on these platforms. Social media provides multiple benefits to the teenagers who use them. The Kids Are Alright, an article published by Scientific American, identifies 3 categories of positive effects from social media. Eudaimonic happiness, a sense of meaning. Hedonic happiness, joy in the moment, and relationships. An example of eudaimonic happiness would be Jerry Symes right there, creating meaningful content to him on TikTok. Hedonic happiness, which is caused by watching entertaining YouTube videos or receiving likes on social media posts, is an example of this would be watching Mr. Beast videos. I like his videos. And then relationships can be formed or strengthened on social media. I use Snapchat to stay in contact with my GAP student, Jonas, and I also stay in touch with my foreign exchange student from my freshman year, Misha. A specific group of teenagers benefiting from social media is teen moms. In an article by Samantha Nolan, an author and researcher at the University of Canberra in Australia, she writes, "The ability to vent feelings and frustrations in the moment via SNS, social media, was one of the most valued means of reducing parenting stress." Another benefit talked about in this article was an improved confidence brought on by likes, advice, and reassurances received via social media. I benefit from social media by using Instagram to gain knowledge about sneaker releases coming up and how much they will sell for. And I also benefit from Snapchat by being able to stay in touch with my foreign friends. Social media continues to benefit teenagers as they use these platforms, but the increasing number of hours spent on these sites do not come without negative effects. Various studies continue to find negative effects associated with social media use, like lower body confidence, higher ADHD rates, and more cases of anxiety and depression. Catherine Schreiber, an author who focuses on how unrealistic body pictures affect teens. One example of someone who may post pictures like this would be Kim Kardashian. Catherine Schreiber wrote in the article, Body Conscious. Exposure to pictures of ultra-fit, ultra-thin models increases the viewer's own body dissatisfaction. She also writes, "The problem with an appearance-based picture is that most people will never look that way, no matter how hard they try." Another negative associated with social media is talked about by Ryan Subi, an author from USA Today. He writes in an article focused on a 2014 study about social media. Researchers at the University of Southern California found that teens who use digital media the most were twice as likely to develop ADHD symptoms over 2 years than teens who used social media the least. And the third negative with social media is anxiety, which becomes more common in social media users. Denworth wrote in The Kids Are Alright, Jeff Hancock, a psychologist at Stanford University, and his team found that more social media use was associated slightly with higher depression and anxiety rates. These issues must be taken seriously when categorizing social media as a good or bad entity, but the same positive and negative effects do not occur on all teenage social media users. Regarding the effects associated with social media, not all platforms induce the same results on their teenage users. In the article, Instagram linked to young people's mental health problems, a study was undertaken to determine the most positive and negative social media platforms. The results, which originated from teenage respondents, ranked YouTube as the most positive platform, which was then followed by Twitter and Facebook, and Snapchat and Instagram finished as the most negative. YouTube was considered the most positive platform because it is used to watch content teenagers enjoy. I enjoy watching Laserbeam, an Australian YouTuber. And then arguments rarely occur on the platform. Snapchat and Instagram were classified as the most negative by teens because they cited the two platforms' focus on a person's appearance to be detrimental to a teenager's confidence. But these two sites can also be the setting for arguments and cyberbullying. Obviously, if a teen uses YouTube to watch videos created by terrorists or conspiracy theorists, the effects will be negative. On the flip side, if teenagers use Snapchat and Instagram responsibly and avoid conflicts on these sites, they will most likely benefit from these platforms. Social media platforms must not be considered as all positive or negative entities. Individuals must realize how and where a person uses social media dictates the effects experienced by that person. In my speech, I presented positive and negative effects related to teenage social media use and acknowledged that how a person uses social media dictates their experiences on the platform. As all of you continue to use social media, be conscious of the effects that come with your participation on these popular platforms. Thank you.